the US government has filed a legal action against Adobe. I'm a lawyer, and let's talk about the lawsuit. In this video, I am going to describe the allegation of the complaint. A complaint is the initial document you file when you start a legal action. Keep in mind that just because a complaint alleges something, it doesn't mean that the allegations are proven to be true. The allegations simply put the defendants on notice of what the case is all about. So, the allegations filed by the US government are one-sided and simply tell the court and the defendants what the US government believes to be true. The suit was filed in a federal court in California. This is because Adobe's corporate headquarters is in San Jose, California. The government agency that filed suit is the Federal Trade Commission, FTC. The FTC is an agency of the US government that deals with the promotion of consumer protection. The defendants in the case are Adobe Inc. and two of Adobe's executives, Adobe's Senior Vice President of Digital Go-to-Sales and Adobe's President of Digital Media Business. The complaint claims that those two individuals, and I quote, formulated, directed, controlled, had the authority to control or participated in the acts and practices of Adobe, including acts and practices set forth in this complaint. I'm sure everyone is familiar with Adobe. It's the software company behind many software products, such as Acrobat and Photoshop. First, let me tell you about some federal laws on which the complaint is based. One law is the Federal Trade Commission Act, which is a U.S. federal law that outlaws unfair methods of competition and unfair practices that affect commerce. The second law is the Restore Online Shoppers Confidence Act, which is commonly abbreviated as ROSCA. It's a federal law designed to make sure online consumers are given clear and accurate information. ROSCA prohibits charging consumers for online products through a negative option feature. What is a negative option feature? It's an offer or agreement to sell something online where your silence or failure to take affirmative actions to reject the product or to cancel the agreement is interpreted by the seller as acceptance of the offer. In other words, negative option feature is acceptance by silence. Negative option feature is only allowed if the seller meets three requirements. First, the seller must clearly disclose all material terms. Second, the seller must obtain your express informed consent. Third, the seller must provide simple ways to stop recurring charges. Here's a summary of what Adobe did wrong according to the FTC. Keep in mind that everything I am discussing is taken from the complaint. This is not something based on my personal knowledge. The complaint addresses Adobe's subscription practices and Adobe's cancellation practices. Let's begin with the subscription practices. In 2012, Adobe began selling its products under subscriptions. You must pay monthly or yearly to use Adobe's products, and the subscriptions renew automatically. This way, Adobe earns more revenue the longer you remain subscribed. Adobe offers three types of subscription plans. One of the plans is their annual paid monthly plan. The annual paid monthly plan is frequently pre-selected by Adobe as a default selection in subscription process. Since at least 2019, the annual paid monthly plan has included the following material terms. 1. You are automatically charged each month until you cancel. 2. If you cancel before the end of the year, you will be charged an early termination fee. 3. The early termination fee is 50% of your remaining contract obligation. 4. If you cancel before the end of the first year, you lose service at the end of the month during which you cancel. 5. You can get a full refund if you cancel within 14 days. Because of all this, Adobe locks you into longer-term subscriptions and discourages cancellation. This process fails to clearly disclose material terms of the plan, including that the subscription term is 1 year, and that you can be charged a fee if you cancel before the end of the first year. Adobe's enrollment process often begins with a plan selection page that presents you with available subscriptions and their prices, but Adobe frequently pre-selects the annual paid monthly plan for you as a default. In some cases, if you want to learn about a particular plan, you must click on tooltip icons below each plan. In particular, the annual paid monthly plan box states, "Fee applies if you cancel after 14 days." But if you go through the enrollment process, you don't see the additional text contained in the tooltip. If you access the information behind the tooltip, Adobe still doesn't give you concrete information about the early termination fee or the subscription term to which the fee applies. The plan selection page does not say anywhere that the annual paid monthly plan requires a 1-year commitment. Further, the plan selection page, including the information behind the tooltip, does not clearly explain what early termination is. Finally, the plan selection page does not disclose the fee amount and that you would be charged for early cancellation. By the way, I'm going to be monitoring this entire legal action and release new videos every time something new happens. So please like this video and subscribe to this channel. For certain consumers, Adobe does not include a plan selection page at any point. In those cases, you don't even see other subscription plans and don't have an opportunity to view the tooltip text. During the enrollment process, Adobe also directs you to additional pages and often requires you to give your email address. The final enrollment page is usually where you enter your payment information. The page provides information about the annual paid monthly plan's terms, but in small font and only below the payment entry form. Adobe knows that many consumers don't notice or read that text below the payment entry form. Now let's talk about the plan cancellation practices. If you try to cancel your subscription, in some cases there is a text labeled Subscription and Cancellation Terms, which is a link that you may click to see a pop-up window with additional terms. But you can enroll in subscriptions without clicking that link, and Adobe knows that most consumers don't click it before enrolling. Even if you click on the Subscription and Cancellation Terms link, you then have to scroll to the bottom of the pop-up window to find cancellation terms. The description of the cancellation terms does not include the word fee or phrase early termination fee. Adobe also auto-renews your subscription and continues to charge you until you cancel your subscription. You have two ways to cancel a subscription. One way is online self-cancellation. The other one is by contacting Adobe's customer service via online chat or phone. But neither way gives you a simple way to cancel. To cancel on Adobe.com, you generally have to go through many pages and deal with many unnecessary options. You must first find the cancellation page, but to find it, you first have to go through other, often confusing pages. And when you find and click on a Cancel Your Plan button, it does not result in cancellation. Instead, Adobe forces you to go through a difficult process with several additional steps. For example, you sometimes have to re-enter your password. Also, Adobe sends you to a mandatory feedback page. This page doesn't tell you that your cancellation request was incomplete. Additionally, you have to navigate through several pages, pop-ups, and offers designed to keep you subscribed. If you try to cancel by contacting Adobe's customer service, Adobe makes it very difficult to cancel. Some people had their calls or chats disconnected. In many cases, subscribers who have requested to cancel through Adobe's customer service continue to be charged. While Adobe hides the early termination fee during enrollment, it highlights it during cancellation. Adobe uses the early termination fee as a way to stop you from canceling. Because you don't know about the fee until you try to cancel, you are surprised and discouraged from canceling when you learn about the fee, which can sometimes be hundreds of dollars. Based on the foregoing allegations, the FTC's complaint concludes that the defendants offer consumers negative option features. Therefore, the FTC argues the defendants violate ROSCA, which constitutes unfair or deceptive acts in violation of the FTC Act. The FTC concludes its complaint by stating that consumers are suffering, have suffered, and will continue to suffer substantial injury as a result of defendants' violations of ROSCA and the FTC Act. The FTC is seeking an injunction order because Adobe is still engaged in the wrongful conduct despite the investigation by the FTC. What is an injunction? It is basically a court order requiring a party to stop doing a specific act. The FTC is also seeking monetary civil penalties for each violation of ROSCA. The FTC is arguing that each instance in which the defendants failed to comply with ROSCA constitutes a separate violation. I'm going to make a separate video discussing how much in penalties Adobe is facing. What do you think about Adobe in this lawsuit? Leave me a comment below. Please like this video and subscribe to this channel for more videos about this case. See you soon, my friends.